Hey everybody, it's Galmadex and welcome back to the Avatar The Last Airbender Early Access event. Thanks again to Wizards of the Coast for providing me with the promotional early access entry. And without further ado, let's get into the draft. We got a really cool mythic rare here, 4 mana, 3/4 flash flyer, and when Appa enters, airbend any number of other non-land permanents you control, and whenever you cast a spell from exile, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. This card seems really good. You can flash this in, try to eat one of their attacking creatures. The airbend mechanic allows you to recast whatever's been airbended from exile. So you exile all your stuff and then recast it all and get a bunch of ally tokens. There's a lot of cards that care about allies that'll have other ways to buff them up or trigger whenever they enter, stuff like that. Appa seems pretty great here. We'll start with that. Pick 2 now. This thing makes some allies. The Cave of Two Lovers. Go towards your red-white allies. Go for the Boulder, Ready to Rumble. Earthbends X every time it attacks for X number of creatures controlled with power 4 or greater. So Earthbend 1 at least every time it attacks. That also seems pretty solid. There's also removal here from Rocky Rebuke or Boomy Bash. The Avatar Destiny is kind of cool. Doesn't seem the greatest though. +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard, and then when it dies, mill cards and reanimate a creature. Seems a little slow and dirtily for my tastes. We did just do Boros in the past. Let's grab Boulder or the Trebuchet as well. We could go towards like black-white sack here. Every time you attack, you get a 2/1 Boulder out attacking. You have to sack at the beginning of the next end step, but if it does not die immediately, you can sack it to something else, and even if it sacks to its own ability, that triggers cards like Tolls of War that activate every time something gets sacrificed. So Fire Navy Trebuchet seems like a very good card for the black-white deck specifically, and that could be where we're headed here off of an Appa, Trebuchet, and now a Tolls of War. Pick number 4. Very reasonable combat trick with Azula Always Lies. There's also the Sokka. You have to attack with 2 creatures, but if you attack with Sokka and just one other creature, you get to draw a card, which is very good value to do that turn over turn. Reasonable Sagas again. I'm going to take the Sokka here. Pick 5, very good combat trick style, protection spell style spell. I don't mind that. Although I suppose this Beetle-Headed Merchants is more synergy for Tolls of War. Sack a creature or artifact each turn. Pick number 6, Callous Inspector. Looks like a great card to sacrifice to other stuff. And it's some early menacing damage. Pick 7, there's Blasting Jelly for fixing and filler removal, Cat Owl for a flyer, or Team Avatar, which if we get a wide board state, do a bunch of damage with this, or a wide board state and like destroy an opposing creature with this. So it could be removal spell and it could be just damage to our opponent's face. This seems decently flexible. We're already a color pair that's going to want to go wide and take a bunch of like token production just to have a bunch of good stuff to sacrifice. Pick 8, there's another one. Or Fatal Fissure. Earthbend 4. Fissure seems pretty narrow. Or Zuko's Exile, or Speculative Fixing. I'll take another Team Avatar. Wandering Musicians also seems fine for, again, a deck that's going to want to play a lot of tokens. And a lot of cheap creatures. There's the Freedom Fighters. If we get pushed off of black or if we get pushed off of white, that would synergize well with the other color, but I think I'm going to take the Musicians here. It seems somewhat unlikely for either of those to happen. Here's our first 2 mana creature. It seems pretty important. Vindictive Warden's playable. 2 and a black. The Azula Always Lies combat trick comes right back around for us. And the Beetles. And that work with our strategy. Alright, let's get some token production, shall we? There's no token production in this pack. I mean, there's sort of Azula. But Azula's got to be the pick, right? Azula attacks, Firebends 2, gives us 2 red mana we can only use during combat, and also gives us a clue. that clue, we can then immediately sacrifice off of her 2 Firebending mana to trigger cards like Tools of War and draw a card every time she attacks. So I think it's just Azula here. Glider Staff seems fine. But yeah, we'll go Azula. Pack 2, pick 2. Somebody discards 2 and loses 2 life. That seems okay. Path to Redemption is a removal spell we can sacrifice later, which is good synergy, but there's a lot of things that are good against it. There's main deckable enchantment removal. You can airbend your own creature to exile and recast it. That would save your creature from Path to Redemption. You can bounce your creature back to your hand. Not a big fan of Path to Redemption in this set. There's really not a lot in this pack going for us. This Mechanist seems like the best card. If we could push to blue, which we probably could, but it's be a lot simpler to just lock in. I'll take this Path to Redemption. Pick number 3. 4 mana, 4/4 flying with crew 1. At the beginning of your end step, if you sacrificed a permanent this turn, create a token copy of this vehicle. And then if you get 8 or more, then they're all just permanently crewed. There's no token production in this pack, so I don't even think this is a particularly dumb choice or anything. If there was token production in this pack, I would still take the Airship because it's cool, but I should probably take the token producer. But since there's not anything that makes a token on color, I'm just going to take the Airship and go for it. But we are so desperate for tokens now. We really need the 4 mana 3/3 that comes with a 1/1 would be clutch. Corrupt Court Official is a fine creature to play early and a good one to sack. Aang is kind of insane. 3 mana 2/3 flash flyer, airbend a creature or spell, and then there's also just like a flip win condition on this thing. Aang is ridiculous and worth splashing. It's for splashing an Aang. Apparently we were supposed to just be blue-white again here. Would have led to a crazy deck. I guess the Wolf Bat is like we could sack it, and whenever we sack a clue later, it'll come back from grave. Wolf Bat looks okay. Everything else is like a filler trick, filler creature kind of stuff. Try out the Wolf Bat. It's good with Azula. There's that Kyoshi Warriors we really want. Our mana curve looks terrible, though. So we have like no 2-drops. Seems like such a banger, though. I mean, all our other 4-drops are pretty good. I guess I'm taking a 1-drop. I don't know how I feel about this deck. This is looking awkward. I mean, we could just cut the team avatars and then we don't need the widest board state ever. Solid removal. Razor Rings. Seeing no blue dual lands. We saw no white blue, no blue black. Those would be pretty high picks so we can get this Aang in here. I think this realm is pretty good when you're flooded out, but we are so low on early creatures. I do need to curve out with this kind of spell. Blasting Jelly can get Aang in there. Or can help at the very least. I'll whip out that Hog Monkey. 2 mana 2/2 on curve. We're not going to be wide enough for Captain to be great here. We really need more 2-drops. Very happy with that incredibly late Corrupt Court Official. That is a banger for this deck. Okay, pack 3, pick 1. When this enters, the creature gains indestructible till end of turn. It's got Firebending 1 and Crew 1. Seems fine. Deadly Precision seems pretty great. We don't have the most removal here, and I'm still looking for more ways to sacrifice cards. So I like taking Precision and wheeling either the Battle Fan or the Poxbearers. Hopefully one of these two is still around on the wheel. Another Trebuchet looks awesome. Don't have the most 2-drops for it yet, but I don't think I can take like anything over that. It seems like kind of the perfect card for this sort of deck. Trebuchet Tolls of War goes really hard. Trebuchet Airship goes really hard. No good 2-mana creature here. So another Azula at 4. Or like a Zuko's Exile. Take another Azula. Drop Musicians now. Man, we still only found the 1 barrels for this Aang. I swear, there are common dual lands in the set. I promise, they exist, they're out there. Got Hog Monkey and Warden. Oh, that's red-white, that's not blue. I could take another barrels towards Aang. Another removal spell like Razor Rings or Swamp Snare Trap. There's not much else, it looks like. I guess this thing gives us a food to sack. The very top of our curve. Sacking the barrels triggers Tolls of War. And it triggers Airship. This is weird. I'm going to go double barrels to splash in Aang and to sack to the cards that care about sacking. I don't think we have any nobles. Well, Azulas are nobles. Lessons have lifelink? I don't think we care. Yeah, none of our lessons deal damage. Yeah, this is not the best low and lead deck. Be okay, because we tutor out an Azula, but 5 mana 2/2 putting Azula in our hand doesn't seem incredible. Hey, I'll just play another 1/1 Menace. Azula do be lying. I don't know if I have room for more of that, though, because I really want to play these barrels. Could play another 5-drop, buffs the board a bit. These big merchants. Nah, we'll just run the merchants. I'll take the Azula Always Lies. Nothing for us here. Grab a Rumble Arena. Oh, I guess that's another way to splash towards the Aang. Okay, yeah, we got double barrels and Rumble Arena. Really don't want to run like a Mana Rock, though. Daily Indoctrination. Sure. We did wield a Battle Fan, that's beautiful. So Razor Rings. Nothing. Nothing. I think I'm going to run either of those. Okay, we cut down 7 cards out of this deck. 17 creatures right now. And a Battle Fan. We can cut 1 or 2 of those. These feel like the potential cuts. I'm going to run Aang because I'm a doofus. I'll cut 1 of the 5s. Keep the Wolf Bat in. We cut 6 non-creature spells. We could just run all the sack removal. Precision double barrels. That's 3 removal spells, all of which sack. Path to Redemption technically sacks, but again, if our opponent airbends or like bounces their own creature, it's a pretty bad card. Let's go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Try out this Azula Always Lies thing. It's good enough to me. Cut 1 more blue source for whichever color is deeper. Black by a lot. Oh my god. So 9, 8, 2 as the split, but we have double barrels as well helping. Just gonna go even deeper on black here because we have so many black spells and 3 black 1-drops. All right. Call it a deck there. Hop in the gameplay. See how well this one does. Here we are for game 1 against Amazonian. On the play. Keep that. Yeah, we got a curve going for us. Inspector into tolls into Trebuchet. And the Trebuchet triggers the tolls on turn 3 the turn we play it. That's really nice. Drop a tolls and poke for 1. Rebellious Captives. Cool. Scry 1. I love land 4 here with the Appa in hand. We'll play the Trebuchet for the tolls. And get the token. That's really nice. Trebuchet Tolls of War is the truth. There's Mechanist, though. Very strong card from Amazonian. Just gonna double block Inspector now. Stop my Trebuchet thing. Get a clue token off of the exchange. Still poke and get a 1/1. I could have opted my own Inspector. That also might have been pretty reasonable there. So Amy gets a clue every time she casts a non-creature now. There's a wall top sentries. A death-touching blocker for Appa. Sadness on the stack. Appa's gonna die. Sack a creature or artifact, draw a card. Put a counter on this. Alright, Appa's gonna die. But we get the reach blocker out of the way. Oh, this only triggers when it attacks? Why? So many cards are like when it enters or attacks. This doesn't do anything till it attacks. Okay, it's slower than I thought it would be. Still gonna be solid here. We got a wide enough board to just go in here. Whee! The Unagi of Kyoshi Island. Never mind about that. Get a lot of our stuff eaten here. The draw 2 off the Unagi as well. Ooh, double Trebuchet. Seems nice. Okay. She's down to 9. Another reach blocker. Block one of our trebuchet things each turn. And there's the non-creature spell to get the clue token to animate things into 3/1 flying blockers. Bounce our token with submersible, and this has waterbending to become a creature. So she can tap her creatures and artifacts rather than her lands. So that will be untapped and ready to block. Get the clue token here. One of the flyers connects. Either one of the flyers hits them or one of the flyers eats their clue. see what we find here. Because I don't have the mana to cast both of these. There's Azula. Team Avatar. So their attacks hit really hard with this many creatures out. And there's a glider, kids. So now they can block both of our tokens that are attacking them. Yeah, we're on the back foot now, despite the life totals being where they're at. We gotta find something here. Yeah, because this is already 1 billion damage. The 2-turn kill. I mean, we do have reach chumpers, but then we lose any shot of going for any sort of crackbacks. It just lands off the top. Ah. Close one. Too many blockers. And we are quite dead here over the next couple turns. The Mechanist went really hard too, lots of clues. These 3/1s attacking. Oh, she actually animated the summoning sick clue. It's pretty easy to do because it doesn't really differentiate the clues for you very well, so it's a rough one, but all lands for us means we're mega dead. Unfortunate. That's going to be 0-1 heading into game 2 here. Oh wow, I've already played land for turn and still have 2 more. Probably a way for her to find lethal this turn. Not quite then. Barrels of jelly. And another land for us. That is GG, 0-1 heading into game number 2. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 2. We've got our blue splash ready. If we find Aang, and we've got Sokka on turn 3, the hybrid mana actually coming in clutch. Playing against a red deck. Alright, we drew into a 2-mana creature. I'm going to play that instead of the Tolls of War, so that if they don't deal with any of our threats, we actually do get to get the attack trigger off Sokka on turn 4. Do not kill this, do not kill this, do not kill this. Okay, don't kill Sokka either, though. Destroy nobody. Alright, they have destroyed nobody. They're just going to play 2 1/1s. This is a Boros deck here, much like our first. Not our first, it was our second draft deck. Our undefeated one. I don't mind Trebuchet. I definitely have to hold up Azula Always Lies, though, so let's play Tolls and hold up. I guess I could just do Tolls later. Yeah, we could just attack both. Holding this up. Draw the card. See what we draw, and that might affect what we play here. Okay. Let's kill 2 of their creatures, rather than buffing up Sokka instead of deserters. So we've got the Tolls of War down now, so by running out the Trebuchet, we'll be getting that combo going when we head to attacks. Should be pretty sick. Can't attack with Sokka, but that's fine. Here's Inspector. The airship should be wild here. Okay, they concede already anyway. Fair enough. 1-1 heading into game 3. But I was going to say the airship should be awesome here with the tolls going on. The tolls keeps giving us these little 1-1 tokens, and we're sacrificing it every turn. So we are going to keep producing a 1-1 token and a copy of the airship every turn. So it's like it's a self-contained package. We have the airship and the airship pilot every time we sack a card. So that was going to be really cool if that game went on longer, but opponent did not have any kind of really good interaction to get out of that. So it ends there, and we're 1-1 heading into game 3. All right, Trebuchet Airship as the plan. We do pretty desperately need to draw lands. This is a 2-lander, but it's a 2-lander on the draw. And our first draw is indeed a land. Barrels make sure everything is castable as long as we've got enough lands total. Doesn't really matter what colors they are. I mean, it matters a little bit, but we should be fine here. Azula Always Lies is pretty decent against the Inspector. I can clear that out and get a counter on our board at any time that we want. They're just going to hold us off. Let's go Sokka here and pass. Four mana from our opponent since they're on the play. They get to play their 4-drop here before our 4-drop. It's going to be Zhao, Ruthless Admiral. Thanks to Azula Always Lies, we can run the attack in here. If something happens where we need to cast it, then we can. And if we don't, then we just drop an airship. Get that airship down pre-trebuchet. Okay, block there. So we could make our thing a 3-2 and there's a 2-3 for the trade there, which would be fine. But not like a super impressive trick. I think it's good enough here to still do. And then play the Inspector to make sure we have 2 creatures attacking next turn as well. That's can't be good. Each player chooses a permanent mana value 3 or greater. And it gets exiled. Okay, so it's just going to be exile Sokka. Then each of us draws 3 or nothing happens. And then they get a 4/5 flyer that airbends something every time they double spell. That is an insane card. Okay. So it's a removal spell and a 4/5 flyer all off of 1 card. This cannot blow up enchantments. run out the airship. Oh, we are each going to draw 3. I'm pretty happy with that. I believe the airship is if you sacked a card. Yes. So it doesn't matter if I like get a trebuchet sack and a precision sack, that's still just one airship trigger. So I'm not really worried about doubling up. So let's get a Zula, which will trigger every turn, and we will also deadly precision away the engineer. Save the blasting jelly for the avatar. Or I could play trebuchet and rallier and spend no removal yet. It's also pretty fine. I'll actually go for that. If they have deal 4 to an attacker or blocker, it's going to be so sad to have attacked with airship this turn. And they did just draw 3. It's the only card they could have here, because Arena's not stopping for them at all. This could be wrong, but I think I need to play around deal 4 to an attacker blocker. See, now Arena's holding. Let's go. That would have been really bad if I crewed and attacked with airship. They kill it before we get a duplicate. So they do have 1 and a white, deal 4 to an attacker blocker. Sure. And then now that there's going to be 2 of them. Oh, it doesn't actually work together. Because it's a beginning of end step trigger on both of them. So I would need to have sacked before the beginning of the end step. Dang it. So I do actually have to precision or clue token instead of trebuchet. Alright, well now I know for the future. I probably would have played that turn out differently instead of going for trebuchet then. Again, still very glad I didn't send everybody in there. We have another deal 4? I'm threatening to like crew and block there, but again, we really need airship to not die until I get at least 1 copy. 2/2 Death Toucher. Okay. Draw an Appa. Kill the avatar. Sacking Battle Fan. Can flash in an Appa. Rallier for Peddler seems fine. I could also crew an attack with the airship, and then if they kill it, I Appa it into exile. But then it wouldn't be on the board for the end step trigger if I play it that way. I would also like to be able to crew both airships, which I can't do if I attack this turn, so I think I'll just pass. I've sacked my card, I'll get my next airship and I'll pass. We'll just start slowly taking over with airships if we can. Next turn we can Blasting Jelly their best creature and then have 4 airships on the board. Water Tribe Rallier on the 2/2 Death Toucher and the 4/4 and the 0/4 on the Menace. Razor Rings that again, sure. There's their own trebuchet. But we just barrel away the engineer and pass. One more mana would be awesome if I could like play a creature and barrel still. Is there any way to sack something right now? Not till Azula or Beetlehead merchants are no longer summoning sick. I mean, I could sack a clue, I guess. If I want to kill none of their cards, play a merchant and an inspector. It's not awful. Yeah, I do need more mana pretty badly, so let's go for that. There we go. That'll be a much better future turn. This is double crew on blocks. Okay, they're just going to concede there. They know I'm getting another airship, and I have 2 creatures to crew them both. So we could attack. They block the 3/4, take 2, and I have 2 4/4 flyers on blocks, and yeah, then I'm just going to barrel somebody, 2 more airships, barrel somebody, 4 more airships. We've got the long game super on lock, and it's getting towards the end of the event here, so they want to get on to the next game, which is fair enough. Okay, the airship seems awesome. That seems like absolutely the truth as a build around. You got to play pretty defensively with it the first time. You really don't want to crew it until you've gotten like your copy of it. That way they can't stop it before it pops off, but when it starts popping off, it's going to be really, really hard to get through. Every single creature you play for the rest of the game could be crewing a 4/4. That was super cool. Here we are against Amy the Amazonian again. We keep this hand thanks to the Rumble Arena. We'll have to play our white spells off curve, but we have a 1, 2, 3 curve of the black spells alone. There's a white source naturally. Play that. Keep that towards the 5 mana. Beetle-headed merchants. Haru hidden talent. Well, they really don't want to block with that, so here comes Trebuchet Send All. Haru lets them Earthbend 1, turning one of their lands into a 1/1 or putting another counter on it every time they play an ally. There's the barrels of blasting jelly. Boomerang my trebuchet. Back to my hand. Come on out, trebuchet. Get unboomed. Rowdy snowballers, tap and stun somebody. It's not super good against our board. Probably just the inspector, right? Yeah. It is an ally, though, for Haru. That is pretty good. Could put a counter on Corrupted Court Official to keep attacking, or I can just play Merchants and pass. Just play Merchants and pass. Foggy Swamp Vinebender, also an ally, probably buffing that plains up, and that is the play. All lands drawn here. Waterbend 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 permanents, so she cannot activate that. She's got 7 power. 6 power double block on this. I'm gonna just flood out against Amy twice in a row. That would be so disappointing. Arena's giving us the opportunity for revenge. You can do better than this deck. That is a bunch of life gain. It's gonna make her real stable. We're just the Floodmaster today, unfortunately. Animate another land. She's only 4 lands drawn here. Get the clue token, I gotta find something. There's the Airship and the Tolls of War. That is certainly something. Crack this clue. These are the Wombo combo, right? We get the 1/1 to crew the Airship with and the copy of the Airship. Drawn to Appa. She passes through. We hit all lands except this Appa. Appa Airbend Toils of War. I think I just want to send the 1 in here. I don't want to animate the one I can't airbend. Unagi gets the draw 2 for Amy. But we get 2 more airships now. With all the 1/1s for them off of Appa and Toils of War. Gain a life and draw a card pretty frequently. Cool. Alright, we send in the airship fleet and that'll get there. That was such a quick turnaround from flooding out a little into just draw the airship, and that was insane. Airship plus Toils together. Alright, lethal crack back here. GG. Just play that to crew. These ships are awesome. New favorite mythic unlocked. And that is 3-1. We did get the revenge against Amy, but we could have just as easily lost there that one. We got really lucky with the timing of that airship. Having the airship and the Toils of War right next to each other in that top decking position was just beautiful stuff. And that is 4-1 for this draft. I am going to have to end it there so that I can get into, or sorry, 3-1 to end this draft. I am going to have to end it there so that we have time to get into another draft. Because if the next game takes more than 19 minutes, I won't be able to start another draft for tomorrow's video. So I'm going to have to resign it there. Because there's an hour and 19 minutes left in the play queues, but in terms of starting a draft, there's only 19 minutes left. They always let you play the event out 1 hour after they close the drafting queues. So the drafting queues will close in 19 minutes, and there's a chance we don't get another game done in that time. All right. Yeah, this was a really fun deck, really sweet deck. Our one loss was just Big Flood against Amy. She had a real strong deck as well, so it was a pretty fair matchup there. She gets one on us, we get one on her. And that would be an interesting best of 3 to see who could come out in the end winning that match. But yeah, other than that, great stuff from the deck. The Aang Splash might have been like a little bold, but I did really like the Barrels of Blasting Jelly in here. I mean, their synergy with the Airship and the Toils of War style cards, and working as the fixing to splash the Aang in was pretty sweet. So I liked the barrels a lot, but like the Rumble Arena and the Island were generally making our mana base worse when we weren't drawing Aang just for our black and white spells. So I don't know how worth it Aang was. We obviously like never drew Aang, so we don't really get to see how impactful it is, but it looks like a super absurd card that's probably worth it, at least when we're already running the barrels because they're good with our other stuff. So biggest overperformer might go to Barrels of Blasting Jelly. I like that with the sack synergies, and it has been pretty decent, consistent mana fixing for a lot of players throughout this early access event. So I've enjoyed the Barrels of Blasting Jelly, but Trebuchet Tolls of War, I don't know if I'd call it an overperformer because we drafted the two together early because they looked incredible together, and sure enough, they were absolutely incredible together. That was one of the most consistent things we were doing quite often. That was leading to some really ridiculous games, some really good boards. So really cool stuff from the deck overall. And I think that black-white is going to be one of those archetypes that is like potentially really good in draft, but probably really doesn't come together too often in sealed because it does require some really specific synergies. Like there's specific like 2-card combos that go really crazy, like Trebuchet Tolls of War. Airship Tolls of War, also completely ridiculous, and that requires a specific mythic rare. So this may be one of the less drafted archetypes because it does rely on having the exact right like double uncommon combos to really pop off, or like the exact right like really good mythic. But when it comes together, it's some really fun, really powerful stuff. So still had a great time today. But that will do it for this draft. Once again, thanks to Wizards Coast for providing me with the promotional early access event entry, and that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube audience to send you some more in the recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.